This is Ron Clymer, and I appreciate y'all watching my videos, and I really appreciate it when you put a comment in that gives me an idea about something that you want to learn. And this is because of somebody asked me, what is the secret sauce that no other sales trainer seems to tell us about getting listings and building listing inventory? And I think I know the answer. Well, building inventory is the secret sauce to success, I know that. But here's what happens. Here's a new person in the office, and they think, well, what should I do? And the truth is, you know, if you've been in the business any time at all, you don't get nearly as much direction from all the people that hired you as you thought you were going to. So you decide for yourself, you know, I'm gonna go watch Susie Superstar over there. Susie seems to be listing 4 or 5 houses a month. She seems to be making plenty of money. She's just all over the place. She's busy as a beaver, winning all the prizes here in the office. And I think Susie must be doing something right. I'm gonna watch what Susie does. So they go over and they watch what Susie does. Well, what Susie Superstar does mainly is answer the phone. Here's a call coming in from a guy she sold a house to 4 years ago. He and his wife bought a house for him 4 years ago, and they're ready for a bigger house. Pretty easy. Then Susie gets another call from somebody that's in the Rotary Club with her that says, hey, Susie, my next door neighbor's moving to Atlanta. Maybe you ought to come out and talk to him. And sure enough, she does. And next thing you know, she gets another call from some bank manager that has repossessed a house and wants her to list it. And, you know, it's just, phone's just ringing. So Mr. Rookie says, well, I guess I should just go home and wait for the phone to ring. Well, that's a good plan, except that their phone's not ringing like Susie's is. And here's what Susie has that Mr. Rookie doesn't have. It's called momentum. It's called momentum. You're all familiar with momentum. Sir Isaac Newton told us about the theory of inertia. You got a train sitting on the track dead still. Takes a lot of effort to get that train moving. But once you get that train moving 60 miles an hour, that same force called momentum or inertia, that same force that kept that train still is now working to keep it moving. And it's the same way with your career. So sure enough, let's go back in time 5 years ago when Susie Superstar was a rookie. She's sitting there at her desk, got a bewildered look on her face, and somebody walks by and she says, what should I be doing? And this genius said, why don't you call for sale by owners? She said, what's that? He said, people that are advertising their house for sale without a realtor. 8 out of 10 of them are going to list with a realtor. She says, is that right? So sure enough, she starts calling them. And now Susie has one of those kind of personalities, or develops one of those kind of personalities, that she's just friendly in general. So she goes, calls these for sale by owners and goes out to see them, and she's just as friendly and nice as she could be, and they want to sell on their own. They don't want to list with the realtor because they're smarter than the realtor and all that stuff. But they talk with Susie. They sure do like her. She sure is nice, mainly because she talks about what they're interested in while she's there. And she spends a few minutes with them and tries to just be friendly. And they don't list with her, but she stops by a couple of weeks later and gives them a free emery board. And a couple of weeks later, she's out in the neighborhood on a Saturday. She slams on the brakes, and Mr. Jones is out cutting the front yard. She gives him a bottle of cold water she has in the car, and maybe a jar opener if he needs it or something. And she just stays in touch with these people. And you know what happens? She starts to list a house a month, 2 houses a month, just from these for sale by owners. Pretty soon she's getting 3 a month. And then she starts going to seminars and things and trying to learn more. She goes to a seminar and the guy at the front of the room says, you should be calling expired listings. And she says, what is that? And they said, well, that's people whose listing has expired in the MLS. You just go to the MLS and they give them to you either every day or once a week or however they do it in your neighborhood. And sure enough, she starts calling these expired listings. Man, she thought those for sale by owners were good prospects. These guys are going to list with somebody, and they're going to do it pretty soon. And like tomorrow or today. And she starts talking to these for sale, to these, not only the for sale by owners, but she starts talking to these expired listings. And sure enough, she starts to get listings. She's getting more listings. And then she discovers that many of them have listed, and then they've moved out of town already. Their house is sitting there empty, and their motivation to sell has gone way up from what it was when they were living here, because now they're in another city making payments on two houses, the one here and the one there, and their motivation is way up. And she starts talking to these guys a little more than even the regular expired listings, and she's just doing great. Next thing you know, she learns about foreclosures. She starts calling those, and she's just going along. And then she's got a bunch of empty houses listed. She goes out on the weekend and starts doing open houses. She just thought of that idea by herself. Nobody even told her. Actually, she might have learned it from reading a book, because Susie reads a lot of books, and she read this book, Deliberate Creative Teams, How to Lead for Innovative Results. And she got the idea from that book of going out and having these open houses and using the same skills she had learned with for sale by owners of just being friendly with people. And so she starts going out and being friendly with people at the open houses. They like her. They're going to buy a house from somebody. They end up calling her back, except that half of them aren't even buying prospects. They're listing prospects because they've got a house for sale. But that's what happens. That's called momentum, because Susie's out there doing something. She starts to mail the foreclosures and mail the empty houses. She sees the house is empty. Nobody living in it. She just sends a letter. Hey, Mr. Seller, you want to buy another one of those empty houses, or would you like to sell the one you have? Let me know. And so she just keeps doing that, and that's called momentum. So now it's 5 years later, and if you're standing there looking at Susie, you say, oh, she's just lucky. It ain't luck, folks. It's momentum. You get momentum. Now, by the way, you can have momentum in reverse. And that's what you have when you start. You got no momentum. You hadn't called anybody. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows you're in real estate. You hadn't joined the Rotary Club or been a member of the Rotary Club and told everybody that you sell houses. But you need to get momentum. Momentum is what makes the world go round. The more you do, the better you do. And it's not like an accident. It's not like an accident. It happens because you're out there doing it. You're out there working. Now, not only you've got all that exposure to the marketplace. You call that for sale by owner. What if 9 out of 10 of them say no? 9 out of 10 of them say no. Well, what does the other one say? Yeah, I think I'll list with you. Well, that's a listing a month. Can you listen to 9 people tell you no in a month to earn a $30,000 commission? Makes sense to me. And so that's the way this thing works. So if you don't have any momentum, start thinking about momentum. And also, I want you to adopt this as a mindset. And by the way, that's another thing from Dr. Amy Clymer's book. Dr. Amy Clymer. Could that be my daughter? It could be, and it is. Proud of her. Now, the next thing is, if you don't have any momentum, it's probably because you don't have any listing inventory. You see, as Susie has gone along in my story, Susie is building inventory. She starts out, she's got 2 listings, and she's got 4. Pretty soon she's got 8, and one of those is pending. Then she's up to 15. 15 listings active, and 3 of them are pending. And aren't pending listings the coolest thing in the world? I mean, if you've got a pending listing, you're going to get a check later this month or early next month. If you got no pending listings, ooh, it's a bleak situation to be in. So a pending listing, that's like money in the bank, except that it just hadn't been deposited yet, but it's there. Because if you got a pending listing, it's gonna sell. It may not sell for $400,000, it may sell for $300,000. I don't care, just so it gets sold. And it's gonna get sold. So build that listing inventory. Set your goals based on listing inventory. I'm not concerned about how much money you make. I'm concerned about your listing inventory. Because if you got listing inventory, I know how much money you're going to make. If you got no listing inventory, man, you better be learning some skills to get it. So keep working on your skills. If you think of something else that you want me to put up here on the YouTube, I'm happy to do it, because I just want to see you be successful. It's just such an easy business to be successful in if you do the right thing. If you sit around and wonder what to do nothing, or worse yet, and a lot of people, they do the wrong thing. They get up in the morning, they work hard all day long, but at the end of the day, they haven't done anything that's really going to put a listing in their inventory. So, is sending out these just listed and just sold cards going to put some money in your pocket? Folks, it's just like money in your pocket. If you didn't watch my video about listing inventory, where I tell the story about the Royal Manor Villas, check it out. It's right here on YouTube, and it just works. It just works. All this stuff works. If it didn't work, the Susie Superstars of the world wouldn't be doing them. Does that make sense? So get to work. If I can help you, let me know. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget that somebody cares about you. Thank you.